Now, there are people who did great things and are hailed as all supreme deity, even if they did some less great things, but that has nothing to do with this video. Alright, time for TNL. And if you haven't watched the trailer video, I would recommend that you do that around this point. It explains what you are watching, so just go check that out. Alright, after escaping the absolute kitty house that was Center Isle, he and a bunch of lackeys took a ship across the ocean in order to find good land. And then they found it. Jokes. It was actually a terrible, rainy, and miserable place. And eventually decided to leave. So, nope. Would this mountainside work? Will it work? Nope. How about this forest? Nope, nope, nope. It seemed hopeless until they found it, a beautiful valley in between the ocean and a massive set of 2 mountain ranges. It was located right about here. It had fertile soil, plus wild game, plus lots of fish, which equals massive profit. Did you say profit? Get off the screen. Anyways, Axthul took the mantle as a simple, temporary leader. He would have to deal with issues like monsters, winters, and being set in the BCEs. But eventually, with these new materials, they became quite populous, even growing in population through immigrants and some good old sussiness.
Bruh.
But where does this man become a legend? Well, time to go into our next segment. After marrying a lady from the nearby settlement of Tazara, he and his 8-year-old son Axthul Angier, which was born before the world starts, and 1,000 soldiers on a little adventure to find villages. And oh boy, they saw them and they went on in. So they went from this to this in 9 years. They almost got to here, but were held back by either economic issues or storms or being held back. Fun fact, 2 defecting villages, Albart and Bavuj, managed to hold them off through fake villages. They saw them as fake villages and left. If I was Axthul, I'd be so mad. Here's what would have been my reaction. Anyways, after becoming Elon Musk, creator and destroyer of worlds, he decided to fix his broken reputation, well, after this. Hey, I'm gonna expand my empire. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go over here. And over here. Ooh, are you gonna take that, Mr. Santhusian? Are you? Excuse me? Okay. Are you offended? Shut up! Anyways, at year 10, he sent some notes out to the remaining kingdoms and asking, hey, I'm sorry about what we did. Would you like to become friends? Stuff about monsters and weapons and food supplies. Because a lot of these other kingdoms are dealing with issues with winter and monsters and literally absolutely everything, they saw their partnership with this experienced kingdom as a good one, and it did work out very well for them. They had military alliances with the Thundorians and economic deals with the Santhusians, settlements with the Naratians and river livers, and nothing for the Albartians and Bavujians, of course. Soon, Axthul had his control over the entire eastern side of the continent, which would cement him for. He and a teenage Doska with way smaller army returned back to Angola.
Oh my God!
Was the reaction that was apparent to everyone, and you can bet they made him emperor. That temporary part doesn't exist. He also created a hierarchy of different citizens called the Draconic hierarchy. He also started implementing racist laws because he think that the West Dragon Islanders were little girls. But he did do some good things too. He started a religion that would help unify the entire area. It was one of the first more real religions too that would actually help build stable politics. He also started exporting and importing goods from across the world, even from other continents. He created a rule book for how other leaders should rule. And he turned Angola into a futuristic metropolis and a renaissance, and started breaking out the punitive system into one straightforward law over the trial Beset Getma. Had Angus join the World Council of TNL, which was basically all the large states joining into a alliance to help coordinate. And finally, he released his propaganda, cementing himself as a legend. But he was tired, so he would need to rest, which segues into... So now that Axthul had retired as an old man, he was gonna go back to his summer home and rest. His grand deputy took over as primary leader while he coached from afar. He wanted to invade Alabart and Bavuj, but that never really worked. And a lot of this time was very boring, just going on naval journeys and diplomatic adventures. Like, that's kind of boring, let's be honest. In year 21, he died of a infection after falling off of a horse. His death was mourned by everyone on the continent, and many other leaders from across other continents gave them their condolences. In the end, his reputation would be cemented as a legend. Almost everything can be traced back to him, which leads to the end.